Today was a real slog. I think I'm getting tired. This is quite difficult. Let's get going because we've got some miles still to cover. So, welcome along. This is a long one for you, but hopefully worth it, as it's the entire back end of the trip from Denmark to Finland. And if you stick around, there's a very poignant story from my first morning in Finland that I think really rounds off the trip well, so hang in there for that. It's worth it. Anyway, I hope you enjoy this. So we're in Germany, of course, and we turned off as the sat-nav told us to, and we ended up in obviously the wrong place. Anyway, I was just looking for a place to turn around, and this was it. And this is a rather lovely bridge, and they're very proud that they've given it the date of construction, which is, as I know, 67 years ago. Is that right? Have I got my maths right? I don't care. It's been a long day behind the wheel and I'm tired. Yeah, this is really nice, just this little ball of green. My frame, I got a little bit of background here on the left hand side, and as in this frame, because it's much narrower, just clipped the top of the roof because I wanted to get just this tiny line of bricks on the bottom of this fence, because I think that, to balance the shot, that was more important than the peak of the building. And that's a nice first shot for tonight. I wasn't expecting much, I have to say, because it's very rural around here. So the dog is in one of his sniffing moods, and while that can be frustrating, I have to keep stopping and looking because I hate dragging him backwards and forwards on a lead. And I've just seen this lovely old weathered trunk. It's got a bed of nettles around it, so it's nice and isolated in all the green, and it looks lovely. That post was sitting right in the middle where I wanted it to be. That never happens. And the edge of the frame was just outside both sides of this. Didn't get involved in this. The balance here is good and the balance there is good. Dropped all this in the background out of focus. My big issue was, again, this is really bright back here and this is in very dark, deep shadow. So I'm going to have a bit of a balancing act to perform with that. But I think this is light enough for me to allow this to go really quite dark. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. So we're back at the 1958 bridge, and I'm very happy to be back here. The light's dropping nicely. This is a tricky shot because it's dropping a little bit into the top of the frame. You can see there's a little bit of halation going on here. But it's a nice shot. I was originally thinking about using one of these. These are slightly, let me swap around a little bit. You see this, the original idea was to shoot through one of these, or both of them, ideally, but it didn't work because just didn't work. And then I saw this gap, because what I wanted was this nice natural curve of the river, although it's probably not natural, it's probably been dug out to suit the farmer's needs. But coming in just at the bottom of this frame here and coming in, and it worked. I think it's a nice shot. I think it works nice. So just kept a little bit of the concrete because there was an opportunity maybe not to. But if you can't see what the posts go into, it loses a little bit of its context. So I was quite happy to just run it up a little bit higher to keep that concrete in at the bottom. This was interesting. I knew that it was going to be a little bit thin on the ground because of the location, but it's nice to come back here in slightly better light. And the dogs had fun. You've had fun, haven't you? So what can I say? I did, most of it is from here, but I haven't shown you everything because I'm sure you get fed up with the pedagoguery that is prevalent in these videos, and so I'd shot around it, and I'll just chuck those up after I finished blathering on. Well, this isn't going to be long. We are this much inside Denmark. Padborg, just north of Padborg, and literally just over the German border. And today was a slog. Today was a real slog. I think I'm getting tired. This is quite difficult. On top of 4 or 5 hours of travel time, which is from point A to B, plus stops to get a cup of coffee and walk the dog a couple of times, and the effort to pack up the van and get everything sorted so that I can travel. And then I arrive at another campsite and I have to unpack and get everything sorted out, cook myself something to eat, feed the dog, take the dog for a walk, or I go out with the camera, which is a kind of half dog walk and half camera walk. And then I get back to the van and I've got to load all this stuff up onto my hard drive so that everything is organised. A couple of times I've missed supper because I've just not had the time to cook myself anything. So I ended up having a cheese sandwich. And that's never very good. Anyway, I don't want to moan. The reason I'm explaining this, I'm moaning, but the reason I'm explaining this is that tonight I thought I'd take a break. It's now 7:30. I took the dog for a walk. I took the GFX 50R with me, and I took a couple of shots because this is like incredibly rural. I'm staying on a farm, and I took the dog for a walk. I took a couple of shots, but it's trees, and it was quite interesting when you're really, really, really limited to what you can take. It's quite surprising what can find your eye, or what your eye can find. And maybe the day isn't entirely lost, but I did want to do this little to camera piece to explain why there's a paucity of work from today. I've had it, I just want to have a bit of time off, please. I hope you won't begrudge me that. Anyway, that's it, I'm off. I'm going to finish my tea and I will talk to you tomorrow. My God, I think I'm the last car to get on. I hope they don't push me back. I got up this morning to take a photograph of that tree very near the campsite, and I put the camera onto the 65 by 24 format just because it was such a big landscape and it was such a small tree, and shooting
at the roundabout, take the first exit.
And shooting it with the wide lens. It just looked spectacular. I mean, even if there wasn't great light on it. So I got on the ferry, and of course the camera, I forgot to reset it. The camera was still on that really, really wide, narrow format, and I thought I'd leave it there, just for the hell of it, and see if I can spend the day shooting in that format. Because I do love it, but it's very specific purposes. There are only a certain amount of shots that it will work on, and it'll be interesting. It's hard enough anyway for me to get my head around the idea that I'm shooting with a very wide lens. But when you take out such a sizable chunk of the top and bottom of the frame, that is making it even harder. So I don't know, I give it a shot, I think, just for something different, something maybe help keep you interested as well.
At the roundabout, take the first exit to Assenswar.
And let's see what happens. I might be a bit windswept. Hang on a minute. Oh my God, yeah, very windswept. Just had a lovely dog walk, and an excuse to stop and get a bite to eat, because I'm really bad at that, really bad at forgetting to eat, especially at lunchtime. Just too many places to get to, really. We just came over a bridge, and because I'm in this 65-24 format, I thought, what would be more appropriate than a bridge? But we're in Kragholm in Denmark. And apparently we're just about to go and get another ferry, so you're going to see even more boat shots. Anyway, it was really good. It was really good, but there was no way that I could do any recording there. It was so windy, you really wouldn't have heard anything. So I think the best thing for all of us was for me to not record it, but it was great. It had some really lovely light on it. The water is a nice dark colour and topped with white horses, very small white horses, because it's not a very big bay. It just had these lovely slashes of sunlight on the pillars, and I don't know, there were probably 10 or 12 of them. And it was just so nice because it's so thin and so long. Those little diagonals, little slashes of light repeating all the way down the liner, that was really lovely. And I shot it from both sides, so I shot it sun side and against the sun. And yeah, it'd be interesting to see that. I'm not sure which one would be my favourite. I'm going to have a look at them both, but the format is about the same, left to right and then right to left. So I'll be interested to see that. I'm not going to go on anymore because we have some fish to fry. Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about this because I'm heading to another ferry, but I've seen no other cars coming towards me, and I'm wondering whether the conditions are not appropriate for the use of ferries. So I'm hoping that that something good will come of this. Oh, there's a car. There's a car waiting in the queue. Okay, so I just got off the ferry, and I have to say that I quite enjoyed stopping. That was the second ferry today, and they were both about 45 minutes long. It was kind of nice just to sit down and do nothing, be out in the sun and the fresh air for a little while and not have to concentrate so much. I'm trying not to think in the Yorkshire way, which is, oh, I spent 70 quid on tickets for ferry. I could have driven 500 miles for 70 quid. And that's really where my mind naturally goes. It was nice. It was nice. Who cares?
In 2 kilometers, turn right onto Tasman.
The dog's looking at me like I'm insane. That was a grim night. That was a really bad night. It was cold, and it's going to be even colder tonight. It dropped down to 5 degrees here. 9 degrees, I'm comfortable. 6 degrees, I'm worried about the dog a little bit. And tonight it's going to be overnight. It's going to drop to 3 degrees.
Keep left to 3.
So that's pretty scary. It's outside my comfort zone, that's for sure. Anyway, I'm going to go back to the 4:3 frame on the GFX because it was a little bit gimmicky. The 65-24 format.
600 meters, be in the second lane from the left, then keep left onto 3.
We're going to go over the Öresund Bridge. You're going to love this. It's an amazing thing. I can't do it all because it's 18 kilometers long. Longest bridge in Europe. But some of it is really fun, and I'm kind of looking forward to this. As long as the cameras recognise my strange UK licence plate. Your scout has got an appointment with the vets. Yes, you have. And we're a little bit early, but I hope they'll
In
see.
500 meters, arrive at Evidentia Marber on the right.
Oh, dear. The pronunciations are abysmal. So we turned off. Oh my God, the monotonous roads in Sweden. Just endless forests. So I turned off, and we both had a nap, didn't we, dog? And we're feeling restored, I would say. We're back on the road. We're due to arrive in our campsite in a couple of hours. We have, I'll tell you exactly, 141 kilometers to go. So I'm hoping that I might get there in a little under 2 hours. And that's all there is to report. Lots of empty road, lots of trees. Treats, cakes, and I've lost them. Oh, and coffee. Well, that looks like someone fell asleep, and it's not surprising. It's a cautionary tale for all of us. So this is rather worrying. I was just overtaking a truck, and I noticed there's snow up here. I'm hoping it's up here. Let me have a look how high we are. It's 167 meters, so we are not at altitude. This is purely a temperature thing. Yeah, this is seriously worrying. So that's that over there. Is the Vatten Sea. Apparently my campsite is quite close to it. What I really like about this is you get these we've got squally weather, we've got like showers that come through, which means that you get these nice blocks of quite dark water-laden cloud, and they run across the top of the water, obviously, and you get these really lovely dark pools of shadow where the cloud is, or maybe even a reflection of the darker clouds as they're passing through. We got little white horses, and just lots and lots of really lovely tones of kind of grey blue. And I'm hoping we're going to have some breaks in the cloud this evening like we had yesterday. No snow, please, no snow. And we're going to get some nice light. There's nothing more depressing than seeing people trying to have kind of holiday time when it's cold and windy and rainy and grey. Anyway, it's a fantastic place in terms of photography, but I've still got 8 kilometers, so I'm pretty far out of this town. And finally, oh my god, finally off the cobblestones. We're in good shape. We're quite early for what we normally do, so I'm happy about that. We can get the dog exercise, and it's waterproofs, I think, the order of the day, because it's very showery. So we've just left the campsite. And it says feels like 0 degrees. That's like 6 degrees colder than I know I've managed without feeling too uncomfortable. And I paid for electricity, so I had my little ceramic heater on, but it was only on for about half an hour, and that was it. I obviously had been allotted a certain kilowatt hours of power, and it didn't last very long, I tell you. So fortunately we did that in the morning when we needed to take the chill off. Right, okay, that's it, I'm driving. So I had the brilliant plan of taking the dog for a walk in this nature park, Paystorp, only to be told that they don't open until tomorrow, which is a blow. But she was very nice, and she said go a further 2.5 kilometers down the road and there's a park here, so I need to look at this. I've cheated, I have to admit. I booked myself into a hotel tonight because last night was very, very cold indeed. So I thought, okay, I'm not going to do this again. This is just, life's too short. So I found myself a hotel near the ferry terminal, and I'm going to stay there and have a beer and have a shower because I need to cheer myself up a bit, because this part of the trip is becoming a little bit dodge. I'm not a happy boy at the moment, so we're going to head back and get back on the paved road. And maybe if the rain stops and somewhere obvious appears, we'll try again. Anyway, last 2 days have been a bit rubbish, and it's a bit disappointing because I look forward to this. This is my highlight of the year, and I don't like it when it goes pear-shaped, and it ain't much fun for you guys either. Anyway, I'm going to concentrate.
Continue on E20.
So I thought I had an hour and a quarter. It said I would arrive at my destination at 9:15 or something. And I'd forgotten there was a time difference of another hour. I thought I had an hour and a quarter left to drive. And I don't. I only have a quarter of an hour. And I'm almost there now, which is very exciting. It's still sunny. And this is the last campsite, which brings joy to my heart. But not really. I mean, it's been fun. There have been a couple of cold nights. And I'm not going to sugarcoat this, you know. It's not one of these you only live once nonsense things. This is hard, but it is a richly rewarding exercise, and I always love doing it. And I know that it's going to get complicated, but you know, that's life. You know, that's just can't go smoothly all the time, and that's it. You know, end of day 8, I think, or is it day 9? I think it might be day 9. I don't know. I don't care. I saw these 2 buildings. I think, yeah. Well, I saw 2 buildings. I think there's about 4 altogether. On the way in last night, and thought that's probably worth having a look at. This is one of the other of the 4 buildings altogether. I love this. It's got this curtain still in there, and it's in a lovely light. I might try and get that. I shot this on 80mm, which is equivalent to a 65. It was a little bit too long for this. It didn't get enough of the environment in, so the scaling was a little bit off. So I'm back out with the wide angle, and I'm going to see if this works better. There's something wrong with the shot from the left-hand side of this. So I just ducked inside some trees and came around onto the other side, and there's so much light on this window that I had to drop the exposure about 2 stops, which then allowed me to drop all this foliage and all these shadows into deep, deep darkness, which was really nice. And I think it kind of just adds a little bit of atmosphere to the shot that I didn't have from the other side. It was all a bit too plain and ordinary from the other side, but this is really a lot more haunting, I think, and just lovely, really good. I really like this. So I'm going to have a wander around and have a look and see what I can make a shot of. This isn't going to work until the cloud goes in, because this just here is just, the contrast is just too much, and I want you to see the door and the wood and the textures inside there. But there's a tree, where's the tree? Yeah, there's a tree here and a tree here, which I think kind of really works nicely in terms of keeping it inside the frame. And in its location, I think it looks quite nice. Anyway, we're waiting for the sun to go in. There's a little toy oven and hob, and a mattress to the left-hand side, which is, yeah, this is, and like, there's a little telephone on the little yellow telephone on the floor down there. There's too many reflections, and unfortunately the door is so twisted I can't open it. So I'm shooting this from this angle, which is almost against the light, so it's kind of working okay. And just as I was starting to shoot, the sun went in for a few seconds, and I got a couple of shots with very subdued light. That worked well, and I'm going to try another couple of shots from round the other side, and I'm also going to try and get the interior, because I see here there's a window out, so that might give me access see what angle it is, but I really want that yellow telephone in there. Yeah, the angle on this is kind of, it might have worked, but the angle with that really wide lens made the frame angles here just look crazy, so that's not going to work. I'm going to have to try and shoot it through the glass. It's not lyrical, because I really want that telephone. This doesn't really say very much at all. Well, I'm in the right mess. I'm covered in mud and tree dust and pollen and goodness knows what, and I've got to pick my wife up from the airport. She's going to be not impressed, and I don't blame her. Anyway, just shot that little child's cabin amongst those 2 or 3 buildings over on the left there. And I'm really happy with it. I'm so happy that I stopped, because I did drive past it and I was thinking, oh, there's nowhere to park, it's going to be awkward, blah, blah, blah. There's always that inertia or the momentum of the trip. Just really doesn't help. And yeah, that old saying, you know, get out of the effing car is so true, because that gave me so much more than I was ever expecting. And this is the kind of thing that I really want to do. Just stop and hunt through a particular place and spend a few minutes or an hour somewhere and just really get to look at it and see what the shots are. I mean, I could have done that in 5 minutes, but it was really worth digging into it, because it rendered so much. Like, there's a little heart-shaped cushion in that child's like Wendy house. We call it Wendy house. I don't know what they call them in Finland. You know, it's not so much about the photography, it's more about, you know, something nostalgic, something lost, you know, something from a childhood. And I wonder, you know, what I don't know how old that child will be now, but you know, I just wonder what she would have felt if she came back here and saw this. I mean, it would be heartbreaking, right? And I just think that to get over some sense of that is, you know, just something lovely in a photograph. I think it's something that adds more than the sum of its parts. You know, I can bang on about, you know, compositions and where I position trees and you know, what lens I use, and but this is just it's so much more human, and I think just so much more interesting. But I'm now, oh my God, I'm running very late, so I'm now going to have to really get my skates on. So that's it, enough from me. Sorry. So that pretty much wraps up this last leg of my trip to Finland. I think in terms of photography it's been okay. Nothing stunning on its own, but as a document of the trip I think it stands up okay. The most important thing is that you've got something from it, be it something to help your photography or maybe even to inspire your own adventure. It's one of the great things about photography. It's always nudging you to expand your horizons, and in that you get a little bit closer to having a compassionate understanding of the world we all exist in, and that's no bad thing, right? Anyway, that's all. It's been fun, and I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll be back soon.